What happens when you take Dragon Ball Z, throw in massive team battles and crank up the chaos? You get Battle of Z, a game that's as wild as it is divisive. But this isn't your usual DBZ fighter. Battle of Z ditches the one-on-one formula for full-blown team-based mayhem. You're not just trading punches, you're coordinating attacks, getting smacked by 3 Piccolos, and trying not to rage at your AI teammates. Behind all the action is a game that dared to be different, with a decent roster, dynamic maps, and a focus on online multiplayer. The game had all the pieces to be legendary, but does it truly deliver? Or is this one battle best left forgotten? I'm Joe, an ex-gaming industry pro, and today we're revisiting Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z, the 2014 PS3 title that tried to do something new with DBZ games. Battle of Z was developed by ArtDink and published by Bandai Namco, aiming to give Dragon Ball fans a more team-focused multiplayer experience. Instead of one-on-one duels, the game throws you into large-scale brawls with up to 4 characters on each team. But here's the twist. It's a departure from the classic DBZ fighting games we all love. This isn't Raging Blast or Sparking Zero. With more than 70 characters, this game tries to reinvent DBZ gaming with elements of role-playing and co-op. Battle of Z is a team-based brawler. Each character has basic melee attacks, a ranged energy blast, and a couple of unique super moves. However, it's all about team synergy. You can heal, buff, and even revive your teammates in battle, different from usual Dragon Ball games. However, that might not be a good thing. The story mode follows the classic DBZ sagas, from the Saiyan saga to the Majin Buu saga, with some bonus what-if scenarios thrown in. The story is just barely faithful, and it's been changed to include team battles, so don't go into this for a faithful, in-depth retelling of the series. When I first booted up Battle of Z, I was hyped. I'm admittedly a huge fan of Beerus, and I did play this game when I was young, but once I got into the gameplay, that hype started to dip. The first few missions were fun, but it quickly became clear that repetition and grinding is the name of the game here, alongside pretty simplistic controls and really irritating AI teammates. But we'll start with the good. Giant team battles with energy blasts flying everywhere really do feel like a DBZ episode brought to life. Pulling off chain attacks where everyone sends the enemy flying one by one is ridiculously satisfying. The game also has a fairly unique system where it borrows role-playing mechanics. You can level up, farm for equipment, and even buy exclusive equipment that changes every so often. This allows you to main a character and power through all the levels, even if you don't have the right skills. You can even team up with a friend and power through the story together. This has to be the best part of the game in all honesty. If you've got a friend to play through it, it becomes an entirely different game. That's a lot of mindless fun. However, if you're like me and you have no friends that own Battle of Z, you'll be left with the worst possible AI teammate in existence, who will either behave faithful to the anime and just watch the fight, or rush in at the worst time and get obliterated. This also means you'll miss out on a lot of features that are key to the fun of this game, like being revived or hitting chain combos. The AI will rarely do that. Even if you do find some friends, as I hinted to earlier, they must own Battle of Z. Yes, there is no split screen here. The developers say this is due to wanting a player having the best possible graphics in full screen. Sure, but how do you explain there not being a versus battle mode offline? Even if you just wanted to take on a bot. The controls are also simplified, which is great for newcomers, but they can feel a bit limiting for hardcore DBZ fans. It's less about skill and more about spamming supers, while praying your AI allies don't wander off to Namek mid-fight. You also have to have a little bit of faith that the cameraman isn't going to join them too, as the camera can honestly go all over the place. Now, I mentioned earlier this game has over 70 characters. That's a decent amount, right? But the way you unlock them is painful. On the one hand, I like a solid sense of progression. On the other hand, I shouldn't have to trudge through over 50 repetitive levels and get an S rank just to get my favourite character. Trudging through these levels also doesn't look the best, because visually, Battle of Z isn't the best. The characters look like upscale DS models, and the environments are a little bit lifeless. Raging Blast 2 came out 4 years prior and has aged significantly better. The energy effects are decent though. The soundtrack is solid but forgettable, with high energy tracks that match the battles but don't leave a lasting impression. And the voice acting is the classic DBZ cast, but the personality is lost a little bit.
That just might work.
Of course it will.
What? Whoa, he's pretty fast.
Still, you can't go too far wrong with the OG cast. So, is Battle of Z underrated? Not really. It's fun in short bursts, especially if you've got friends to play with. But the repetitive missions, clunky controls, focus on online, and frustrating AI hold it back from greatness. If you're a hardcore Dragon Ball fan, it's worth checking out and forming your own opinion on it. But for everyone else, there are better Dragon Ball games out there. Sparking Zero, Kakarot, even Xenoverse, which first released only a year after this one. All different genres to appeal to different tastes. If you enjoyed this review and really enjoyed this season, hit that like button and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what's your favourite Dragon Ball Z game. And as always, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, whenever you are, and see you next week for the end of season special.